of managing hepatitis B in the family setting. I hope you will enjoy this, and please don't forget to subscribe to support what we're doing. There is a general advice I would give to the family. The first one would be everyone who is negative to this test should go for a screening test, as the chance of transmission is high among family members. The next would be get vaccinated if at the screening you were found to be negative, because that will reduce your chance of getting infected by a factor of 100%, nearly 100%. That is if you uptake the vaccine. The third thing is avoid sharing things like needles, blades, knives, or toothbrushes. Hepatitis B is transmitted via blood and blood products as well as via secretions, particularly of a sexual nature. Keeping away from these things will help reduce transmission among family members. Practice safe sex, particularly among couples. Use of barrier methods till low viral count has been detected in the positive partner will significantly reduce the chance of the negative partner getting the infection. If there are wounds and cuts on the fingers or anywhere in the body by the infected person, it is best to cover them so that they do not pose a risk for transmission to those who are negative. Lastly, those who are negative in the family should continue to socially engage with the infected person. It is quite a very terrible and traumatic diagnosis in the first instance, although not as much as overblown by the society. And so if the support is lacking among members of the family, this can traumatize the person who is infected. We'll talk about the next steps, the steps that would be very specific to the particular person in the family who is affected with this condition. We'll start for the wife. What should happen? Now, for the wife, the barrier methods of consummation of marriage would be key, especially if it's uncertain that the viral load is high or low. Once it is determined that the viral load is low, past at that moment, it will be safe to go on with unprotected sexual activity, particularly for the reason of procreation. Vaccination for the negative person will be important, because if the vaccinated person is exposed to the virus, the chance of transmission to them is very low. So it's important to ensure the person who is negative gets vaccinated. Live with each other in love. Do not continue to be in suspicion. For all you care, most of the people who are infected may have had it when they did not even have any sexual activity with an infected person. Most infections in Africa particularly and Southeast Asia occur in childhood and or perinatally. You can kiss, hug, and do a lot more things together, as these methods are not recognized modes of transmission. Check the viral load for those who are infected, and if the treatment is indicated for the pregnant woman, particularly in the later stage of pregnancy, and for treatment, because that would reduce transmission to the baby as well as the compensation of liver disease in the pregnant woman. So most antenatal services in Africa and where the infectivity of hepatitis B is high, is recommended that they actually have hepatitis B checks. And if at delivery, some people get worried whether vaginal delivery would increase the chance of transmission. I don't think there is any such risk. So it is expected that the pregnant woman can deliver without really having to go through cesarean section unless indicated for some other reason. For hepatitis B to be prevented in a baby who is delivered, immunoglobulin injections can be given to the baby for any transient passage of this virus from the mother to the child. The vaccine rather, hepatitis B vaccine. You would notice that I wrote hepatitis B surface antigen. No, it's hepatitis B vaccine should be given to the baby, and the complete series of vaccination should be given to the baby without missing. That way, the baby can safely go without any infection from the mother or even family member for that matter. For men who is infected, what should you do? Well, I've got advice as well. There are 4 scenarios that can occur, okay, 4 in particular, and either the person is asymptomatic carrier, or they are actually having a chronic active disease that is damaging the liver, or there is cirrhosis, and or perhaps even at the time of diagnosis is cancer that has developed already. For that, it is important that the man knows their chance of progression is higher than for females, in which case it is very important that he does not play around with his status. That does not mean that his transmission rate to the woman is higher, although theoretically it is, particularly in an sexually active person. And so, what should you do? If you're positive as a man, use barrier methods and check the viral load to be sure that it is undetectable or low. And if the viral load is beyond a point, we have defined parameters for the treatment, that is 20,000 units, then you need to be started on treatment. That is for chronic hepatitis B. They can do imaging ultrasound for cirrhosis as well, and for cancer checks as well. Very important that you take care of yourself and be sure that you are well managed or monitored if you are not qualified for treatment at the point of diagnosis. If both parents are negative and a child has the infection, then it's very likely that this child may have had it from horizontal transmission, playing among kids and some other people or family members that may have contacted it through different other means. So the recommendations would be to go through the same recommendations for man, although it is significantly important that this is managed by a specialist, a pediatrician in particular. They will check for cirrhosis and do an ultrasound or imaging, and perhaps a liver biopsy may be needed at this point. Well, the summary is: love each other. You can hug each other. You can eat together. You can care for one another. You can support each other. You can sleep within the same blankets. You can breathe your breath together. A baby can have breast milk. It does not lead to transmission. Even saliva cannot lead to transmission of hepatitis B. So it is not expected that you should ostracize someone who has hepatitis B. Eat well, sleep well, and take care of yourself. That way, you will be well supported and monitored for treatment when you need it. I hope you will like this and share this to those who really you care for, so that they will get well informed. Thank you very much, and I'm waiting to welcome you again on another video of mine. Bye-bye.